All right, here we go. Another edition of Who You Got podcast. Jimmy, Ryan, I got to tell you, the madness was so maddening. We couldn't even record Monday. We had to wait to Tuesday because Jimmy and I were counting our fortune. Jimmy, that was one of the best first 4 days in a tournament I think I've had in a long, long time. My personal account was up about 22 units. Our joint account was up about 20 units. And I know your personal account was up about another 20 units. So those first 4 days couldn't have gone better. So if you had to pick one from the first round that really, really stuck out, what game would you go with? What was your favorite game from the first round? And then we'll get to the second round.
From the first round,
there's so many good ones.
There was a lot of good games. You know what? One of the better games that I thought I watched, and it was frustrating, was Texas BYU. BYU, they look like they don't know how to play together as a team. They've got DeBanza, who's going to be a top 2 pick probably in the draft. He was dominating the game, but they couldn't figure out how to play basketball as a unit. It was tough to watch. But Texas looked really, really good, and they kind of showed up in the second round, so that was really exciting.
I think the obvious answer was probably TCU won at the buzzer pretty much. High Point definitely won at the buzzer. That's probably the one everyone would go with. The High Point win by 1 over Wisconsin. The UCF comeback over Carolina was good.
That was very good.
For me, it was obviously Kentucky because it looked like they were dead to Santa Clara, and then Owe throws one in from 35 feet at the buzzer to tie it. They win it overtime. He probably saved Mark Pope's job because I don't think even with injuries, the UK fan base was going to accept a loss again in the first round and not to Santa Clara. So I think that saved his job. Unfortunately for Kentucky, they were just completely outmatched. We talked Friday. We thought that line was a little suspect because it was so low. Turned out it wasn't a trap to take Iowa State. That game, after they got back from the first half, the game was never in question. If you bet Kentucky in the first half, you were a winner. But then it was all Iowa State.
Yeah.
So
Iowa State looks tough. We've talked about them a lot. I still think I don't know.
Great first round. It continued into the second round. And, I mean, we had some games in round 2. We'll start with Jimmy's team here, St. John's. I mean, they came out, looked great. Then they went through a 10-minute stretch where I was like, oh, my God, there's no chance they move on. Then every time Kansas inched closer, St. John's had a response.
Yep.
And then when Kansas finally tied it up and St. John's had the final possession, they made it count.
Yeah, and they had all those fouls to give.
That was so obnoxious, but well done by Bill Self.
Yeah, Bill Self played that perfectly. St. John's, I mean, all they would have had to do to really make that null was get the ball into the front court. They couldn't do it. So 4 fouls, time is down to nothing. You're thinking to yourself, well, this is probably going to go to overtime. But no. They throw it to the lefty, and he goes right. And that was it, right? Darling, they call him Balls. But it was what an ending. Patino, my favorite part was he tried to look tough and keep it together after the game. He walked out real buttoned up, and then they flash back to him the next time, and he's smiling and jumping around. Yeah. He kept it together for a minute.
So, it was a great strategy by Bill Self, but it was the ultimate backfire because they couldn't screw around. They only had 3.5 seconds, so it was going to be a drive to the hoop and one shot to win it instead of 12 seconds dribbling by the top of the key, how we watch all the time.
Yep.
They pass it, panic sets in, someone throws up a prayer, turns it over. It was get the ball, go to the hole. That's all you can do.
That's the first time that it's ever happened where someone scored their first points on a game-winning shot in the NCAA tournament.
No kidding. That's a good stat.
That tiny little dude who's 5'9". He just drove into the trees.
Oh, he's bigger than that. But but he's not big. Yeah, he's not big.
I mean, maybe he's 5'11". He's not 6'5". There's no way.
No, he's not that big. They said he called it. He called the play. Patino said that in the press conference afterwards. So, I mean, St. John's looks,
And Jimmy, I don't think you're giving. I'm not a huge Patino fan or hater or whatever, but I'll tell you what, he had ice in his veins when that dude hit that shot. Yeah. He turned to the left, he walked, he shook hands, he did his business. It was really an ice cold kind of thing.
It was. But 5 minutes later, it finally came out, and he was
fine.
No, it was a badass move by Patino initially.
He's Ricky P. He's seen this 1,000 times. This is his 1,000th buzzer beater.
Yeah.
I don't care. That was a huge
another
one.
day at the office for Ricky P.
It was fantastic.
I know, but to throw the ball in that dude's hands and that dude then get it done, to not be exceptionally excited and just kind of calmly turn and be like, "That's what I planned for."
Because he knows it's around a 32. He's 1-0. He knows. He's been to the top of the mountain. He knows. Jimmy, did you kind of feel like right out of the gate Duke was playing with their food a little bit with TCU, and then they finally said, "All right, enough of you," and won by 23?
Yeah, I mean, yes.
Okay.
And they obviously did that versus Siena and the Fighting McNamara's in the first round.
They did more than play with their food with Siena.
Yeah,
I mean, it was almost lights out.
That was close. I mean, they're running into St. John's next. I think this is good. I mean, I think it's going to be a great game. We'll pick it later, but yeah, I love it. Duke, St. John's.
Michigan State, I thought, shows you why they are a potential Final Four team. I mean, they just played a tough Louisville team, physical game, grinded them out, and every time Louisville tried to make a run, Michigan State had a response. Every time.
I was going to mention, I think Michigan State was one of the more impressive teams I saw. They didn't blow Louisville out, but they played Michigan State brand basketball. Jeremy Fears Jr. is really coming into his own. He's not as good as his brother in my estimation, but he's a leader of the team. It's classic Izzo, right? The team's a Michigan State team, and they're always tough. The best quote I heard about Michigan State is they never underperform in the tournament. Like, they never underperform versus their talent, right? They always meet expectations or exceed them. Even when they lose, it's because they finally get out talented, but they never bow out early.
Next game was the disappointment for me and you. Ryan was happy about it, I'm sure, but I can't believe UCLA put up little to no fight in the last 10 minutes of that game.
That was a tough game to watch. That was a really tough game to watch. I thought they had it. My wife was. I told her to take them in the brackets. Yeah, I think they're going to win. I think they're going to win, and they didn't.
No, and when they came back and got it to 56-54 after they fell down by 12, I was like, okay, here we go. This game's going to settle in. UCLA is going to definitely cover, and I think they're going to win at the buzzer. And then UConn goes on another run like that, and that was all she wrote.
Yeah, it feels like that's UCLA. I mean, I didn't watch a ton of UCLA basketball through the year, but I did watch them when they played Michigan. I watched a couple of other games, and I think they had talent, but they sort of underperformed where they should be. The coach was pretty frustrated with them earlier in the season. If you recall, that was a story for a minute.
I just say it again. Like, I did pick UConn to get to the Sweet 16, and I can't remember if I have them in 8. I think I have them in 8 too. But regardless, I took a bunch of other losses, so don't you worry.
Yeah, they didn't look dominant versus Furman in the first round.
Yeah. No, I agree. And they are that team that it's weird. Like, they have the potential to beat anybody, but they also have the potential to lose to the three of us playing 5-on-3.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like, but what are you gonna do?
We'll pick that game later. Let me just tell you, I'm seeing green. Upsets Florida. I was surprised. Jimmy made a comment to me. I think he nailed it. Florida just one more time tried to start up the engine when they felt like playing, and it was too late.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jimmy, just credit to you real quick. As I was driving to the far eastern area of my district today, I listened to you, and you were the one. We said Duke. You said Florida. So credit to you, man. You picked this. If there was someone that was going to lose that you didn't think was going to, they did. They blew it. And it looked like they had a shot at the end of that game, too, but they just couldn't execute. And that ball on the ground there, I'm not sure why you're handing that off amongst two defenders that are 7 feet tall. That seemed a little confusing.
Jimmy, tell Ryan what you learned on Sunday.
To make the bet.
Yeah, make the goddamn bet.
I made that call in the morning. I didn't bet it. I said 10.5. I don't know. Iowa's playing tough. That's a lot of points, but I didn't bet it. We still had a very good weekend. But I could have pulled
Jimmy's exact quote was, Greg, I really love Iowa.
Yeah.
And
a lot of points.
My God.
Well, if Greg didn't call you out, we'd all assume you made a few billion
goddamn
dollars.
Bet. I mean, Jimmy nailed it. Said they could win this game. I love the 10.5.
Yeah.
And then it fell to 9.5. Oh my God, make the bet.
Yeah, should have pulled the trigger. Figueres makes that 3-pointer at the end of the game. Crowd goes wild. I think Florida's going to get it done at the other end. They don't, and Iowa moves on. I got to tell you, who's having a better tournament than the Big Ten?
No, Big Ten looks great.
Yeah.
Big Ten looks great. Big Ten, and then obviously the Big 12. The SEC, I don't think so. Obviously, not having the best tournament. I thought the Nebraska Vandy game. I wish it wasn't around a 32 game. That was too good of around a 32 game. I
Awesome
wish
game.
that was what we were looking at in the Sweet 16.
But we got that right. All three of us. We
Nebraska,
went on that.
Yep, Nebraska moves on. Nothing to really talk about in the next two. It's going to be a very intriguing game. Houston and Illinois, both coming off back-to-back just dominations of the first two teams they played. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. Iowa State, no trouble with their first two opponents. They move right on. Me and Jimmy had a little disagreement with these two, but Tennessee destroys Miami of Ohio, handles Virginia no problem. They were my favorite play that day. Tennessee over Virginia was my play on Sunday. I love the most. Bama cruises. We had that one. We loved Bama there. Michigan cruises. Purdue, never really in doubt. Miami would make a run here and there, but never really in doubt. This was one of the ones we looked at and said, here's the upset. And it wasn't that big of a spread, but we just had a feeling Texas had the size to play with the Zags and was going to beat them. And we nailed that one.
Yeah, and I don't know did you see Mark Few's press conference? I'm not trying to hate on Mark Few, but he had this big speech about they're not a Cinderella, they're a what happened to blue bloods? They've got the payroll, they've got all this. Like basically, I don't know. Didn't sound like excusing it off. It was just an odd comment after a loss.
What, he was referring to Texas as a blue blood?
Yeah, I don't know if he said blue blood specific, but he said something along those lines and talked about the assets they have and how this wasn't a Cinderella thing. We played a really good team out there, which is it's fair. They did play a good team. He's giving them credit, but it's also sounding excusey.
Yeah, there's going to be teams now with these like conferences of 16 where you get an 11 seed who played in the SEC who's not probably an 11 seed. You know what I mean? They're 7 seed. You know, they're a top 20, 30 team. Anyone can beat anyone when you get into these games. And I would argue Gonzaga at this point is a blue blood. I mean, they're literally a top 5 seed just about every year, and now they're moving to the Pac, whatever we're calling it.
Yeah.
And if that league reforms itself, then they're finally going to be in a power conference at some point. Because make no mistake about it, at some point, the Pac, whatever they land on, is going to have money and it's going to have these automatic bids again. The league folded, it's going to rebuild, it's going to be fine.
Do I remember that last year the SEC made 13 teams? Is that correct? Or 13 were...
the SEC's got like 16 or 17 now. Oh, you mean made the tournament?
No, made the tournament.
Yeah, they had 8.
It was something silly.
It was silly last year.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I think this year, what was it, 10 this year, and Big Ten was 9, something like that?
I think it was, yeah. I thought, or did the Big Ten get the most in?
I don't know.
I have to go back and look.
That can't be, can it?
Yeah. It's Big Ten or SEC. They were 1-2.
And then Arkansas sneaks by High Point. Another great effort by High Point. They covered the spread. Worked out well for us.
They put up 88 on Arkansas. You should be proud.
They had a great tournament. I told you. I told her there'd be a high point, no low points.
You're not wrong.
And Zona cruises. So we'll pick the Sweet 16 at the end of the show. But that was kind of our recap of the first 4 days. And from a betting standpoint, couldn't have went better. Jimmy, how did the UFC go?
It didn't go good, but we didn't have a lot of hope in it. These were half-unit plays. Like I said, I didn't love the card. We took all dogs, so that if it came through, it did. The main event ended up being a majority decision, so we took the wrong side of it, but slightly. And Michael Page ended up winning by unanimous decision, which I'm surprised by. I didn't see that fight going the distance one way or the other. So we lost 1.5 units, no big deal. Could bet 3 dogs. If one of them would hit, it would have covered the whole thing. But not my favorite card. I obviously didn't even watch it because we were watching the NCAA.
Do we like the Pfeiffer this weekend in the main event? Plus 114?
Dude, this is really, really difficult because Adesanya is one of the all-time greats. But what's weird about Adesanya is like they were comparing him to like the new Anderson Silva. He obviously never had the longevity to become Anderson Silva, but he's only 36 years old, and he's lost 3 in a row. But he lost to Sean Strickland in a decision, and that's when he held the belt. That was coming a lot off a win to Alex Pereira. He lost to Pereira, then he beat Pereira. This is the same guy that was then one of the most dominant light heavyweights. This is at 185, move up to 205, and now he's moving up to heavyweight. The guy was huge. So he lost to Strickland in a decision. He got subbed by DDP, and Duplessis had been theoretically dominant until he ran into the buzzsaw that is Shemaev, now the champ. And then he lost to Imavov. He did get knocked out, but Imavov is the number 1 ranked contender. Well, he was. I think he shifted because. So I don't know, man. This is a really tough fight. Adesanya is the more skilled fighter. Like he was the last style bender. He's only 36. He's certainly slowed down a little bit because he's 36. Piper's big and strong. We picked him to beat Kelvin Gastelum 2 fights ago for him by knockout, and he ended up winning, but by decision. So we didn't get the KO there. He came back, subbed Magomedov. I don't know. This is a really, really tough one to pick. Gun to my head, I'm gonna go probably with Piper plus 114. Right. But I don't know if I'm gonna bet this. It's just such a tough one to bet.
All right, the other one I wrote down for you is Terrence McKinney and Kyle Nelson. The only reason I want to know about this fight is because I noticed the under 1.5 rounds is minus 280. Are these two guys who are just going to literally stand in the middle of the ring and throw haymakers at each other, or what happens here?
Yeah, so
why is that under 1.5 juice so much?
Well, if you look at McKinney's last, I'll go farther back. But if you look at his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they've all ended in the first round. 2 he lost, 4 he won. The 3 of the 4 that he won he was by knockout, and then he got a sub. The 2 he lost was by KO and by submission. So, yeah, his fights don't last long. I don't know much about Kyle Nelson, but in real time, his fights go longer. So you got decision, knockout, 1-1. He got knocked out, he knocked someone out, and then a bunch of 3-round fights. If you look at the line with McKinney being the favorite, that's all you can think is that's most likely going to happen. But that's for a fight the line is minus 170 plus 142. I don't know, man. I'd probably gamble and go with the over on this one at plus 2. Right? Because if you think, like, logically, if they're that evenly matched that Vegas has them that close, and Nelson's not a knockout artist, like, why would we think that it's going to end that quickly automatically? It certainly could, but I would take the plus 210 way before I'd lay 280.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else that you are going to target this weekend, or is that kind of it for the UFC card?
So there's a couple other interesting ones. I think Macy Barber wins. She lost to Alexa Grasso by a decision years ago. She's the younger fighter. A lot of times when that happens, they come back stronger. Grasso just was fighting for the belt. I think she was the champ briefly. I don't know why I can't remember that exactly. I believe she was. Let me look it up. Hold on. Yeah, she was. She beat Shevchenko. Then she had a draw. She had a trilogy with Shevchenko. Shevchenko's one of the best. She lost to Natalia Silva. I believe we picked Silva on that. I just think Macy Barber's on the come up, but I don't know if I want to lay 180. I would probably, and this is slightly risky, but I think if you go farther down the card to Chase Hooper at minus 278, I would probably parlay those and see where it takes you. Because I think Chase Hooper learned his lesson. He's super talented, but he was fighting conservatively and it got the best of him. I think he comes out and he gets it done this week. So I don't have the exact odds if I did that in front of me. Because for some reason it's not pulling up on my DraftKings account when I place it. But I would probably parlay those 2, and I would only do it for a single unit because I don't love it. Marcin Tybura is fighting. He's been around forever. He's 40 years old, so that's just an interesting one to watch. I think Bahamotis gets it done, but he's minus 290. Maybe you do him and Chase Hooper, and you leave the other one alone. But I really do think Macy Barber wins. So it's allegedly, I think, Michael Chiesa's final fight. I believe he announced in the UFC. He's minus 575. You can't bet it. He's fighting Nico Price, who's no slouch, but they're clearly throwing him one that he can win on his way out. But yeah, I mean, I've just gave you a bunch of bullshit about not a ton. It's a good card if there's nothing else going on. Unfortunately for the UFC, we have NCAA basketball this weekend. So
yes,
yeah, yeah. So this, yep.
So, they know that too. They're not stupid.
Yeah. No, look, the Adesanya Piper fight is worth watching because Adesanya is one of the all-time greats. Like he's not over the hill. When he's on, he's phenomenal. And he's got huge wins under his belt. So it's worth watching. My heart says bet Izzy. My mind says it's probably smart money to take Piper. Izzy's on a 3-fight losing streak, but what do I know?
All right. Well, here's what I got for you in golf. And no disrespect, but I'm going to say it. If Min Woo Lee is 15-1 to win this week's tournament, we know we don't have a strong field. So Just my take. Now, if I'm Chris Goddard up and down, I'm a little offended I'm not the favorite. And God, I got to ask, 5 years ago, God, Brooks Koepka in this field would have been 3-1. He's 25-1.
What? Wow, that's really weird. I mean, I get it, but that's weird.
He's been down the board a lot.
Yeah, he's been down the board a lot. He hasn't rounded into form yet. He's kind of up and down. He really hasn't strung 4 great rounds together that makes him a threat to win a tournament yet. Ben Griffin's down the board a little bit there. I am going, and Jimmy, you can write this down because you're going to play it in our account.
Okay.
I'm going to go way down the board here, and I'm going to take a shot, and I'm going to take a shot in our one and done in the Mayo Cup. Boys, I think it's time for a Jaeger bomb.
Mm-hmm.
I like Steven Jaeger. He's fallen. I bet him at 65-1. He's down to 57-1. I like him across the board. I like him to win 57-1. I like him top 5, top 10, and then I don't know, whatever you want, whatever you feel comfortable on that. If you do half a unit, if you do a third of a unit, whatever you do. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to top 30, including ties, and I'm going to put a full unit on it, figuring he's definitely coming in the top 30. And worst case scenario, I walk away even.
All right.
That's the way I'm going to attack the golf this week. But I think it's time for a Jaeger bomb. And I swear to God, on Thursday morning, when I open up our one and done tournament, because again, one of our entries is sitting right outside the money and the other one's kind of middle of the pack. If I somehow hit another one that 10% or more of the pool is on, I'm just throwing my hands up in the air and you boys are picking the rest of the year because no one's picking Steven Jaeger, I would think.
Well, how about we talk about an anniversary? What do you think? We'll move on.
Yeah.
Anybody know what the first anniversary is today we're celebrating?
I do not.
We've all seen it. It's
2005.
Don't worry, I won't go off and no quizzes.
Was it Tiger?
No, it's related to TV.
Okay.
So a show came on 21 years ago. It's a show we've all seen many, many times. Maybe in some of our cases we watched the entire series 3, 4, 5 times.
Did it start in 2005 or ended?
It's 21 years. Yeah.
It ended or started?
Ended or started?
It started 21 years ago. Sorry. Good point.
Breaking Bad.
Nope. Jimmy?
2005.
It's not The Sopranos. That ended in 05, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it started in 99, I think.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Started in...
Very, very famous. Would
Dexter?
rank probably in... What?
Dexter?
Nope. That's
Thinking about the kill room.
That's a little later.
Yeah.
Michael. Pam. Jim. All these folks. 21 years ago. The Office.
Oh, The Office. 21 years ago. Wow.
Yeah, today.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
As of this morning, just a little fun point.
It's a good one. It's a good anniversary.
Yeah.
All right.
Good one.
Well, that's what I had for you, PGA. And now we're going to shift gears. Road to the Derby, and we got 2 monsters this weekend on Saturday. You got the Arkansas Derby and the Florida Derby, and these are probably 2 of the best prep races, in my opinion. It's the Florida Derby. So let's start at the Arkansas Derby. You got this will be at Oaklawn, one of the last races of the day. I'm trying to look for the race number. Nice of them to not put it here. Awesome. But just look it up. Arkansas Derby. It could be the last. It's either the last race or second to last race on the card. Interesting field here. Really interesting field. Renegade, I don't know why Pletcher went here. I would have thought he was going to go to the Florida Derby because he ran in the Sam Davis in Tampa. So I don't know why he moved up to Arkansas. Maybe because he thinks it's an easier field. But Irad's on him. He's 3-2. He could go off odds on. God, he's out of Into Mischief. I think he probably deserves to be a heavy favorite in this field. If you're going to try to beat him, I don't like Silent Traffic, the second choice. I really don't. Marky Cassie trains. Torres is aboard. He was second in the Rebel Stakes, a grade 2. Not loving it. As much as Jimmy, you know this, as much as I hate going to a Baffert horse, if I'm going to try to beat him, I'm probably going with Litmus Test here out of the Baffert barn, 5-1. He came in third in the Rebel Stakes, which doesn't really impress me, but he's got the pedigree out of Nyquist, who's a former Kentucky Derby winner himself. So if you're going to try to beat Renegade, my suggestion is go with the 9 Litmus Test. Now let's get to the main event. Florida Derby, Gulfstream Park. One of the best, is the best card of the year for Gulfstream. This card is loaded, so don't just go bet the Florida Derby. Just bet that whole card. It's going to be great. This is going to go off 6:53 Eastern time. They're going a 1.125 miles. Field is loaded. You got Chief Wallaby out of the Mott Barn, Alvarado aboard. You got Commandment 5-2, Cox out of the Cox Barn, Flavian Pratt aboard. I mean, this field is literally loaded. Nearly Pletcher Barn with Johnny V aboard. And you got the Puma, who's coming off his Tampa Derby win. This is a field. You know me, I don't love going with favorites, so I'm going to throw the Chief out. I'm really looking at Nearly out of the Pletcher Barn because I'm a New York guy. I love Pletcher. I love it. Chad Brown and Pletcher are my favorite trainers. Johnny V is one of my favorite jocks. So I'm going to tell you, if you're going to make a play here, let's try to beat the favorite. Let's go with Nearly, the 6-horse, or Puma, the 8-horse. Puma's out of Essential Quality, too. Another nice pedigree. So those are my picks as we take the road to the first Saturday in May. I'm sure nobody wrote them down. It'll be funny when I come on here and tell you how much money I won, and for no one listening, how much money you did not win. All right, but we'll move on from the Derby. And Jimmy, what's tomorrow? What did I educate you on today?
Oh yeah, it's opening day. It's Yankees and Yankees. Yeah. Was Yankees Giants on Netflix?
Yankees Giants in San Francisco. And if you were as surprised as Jimmy, I don't blame you because tomorrow's March 25th. It's the earliest opening day in the States ever.
Yeah, that's really early. It's usually like first week in April.
Yeah.
Is there a reason?
I don't know.
The weeks just fall one way or the other?
They want to have makeup games for snow in some of the northeastern.
Yeah, seriously.
Market.
I'll tell you what. I went to a game, and I'm not exaggerating, yesterday in 3 pairs of pants and like 5 things on top with a hat and full-on ski gloves. And the kid was pitching, and it was brutal. I don't know how they expect people to play outdoors in a relatively stationary sport of softball. It's one thing to run around. It's another thing to stand at whatever base or whatever outfield or. Oh my goodness, it was freezing.
No thanks. Yeah, I went to opening day. Well, I didn't actually. We were gonna go. This is 2003, I think. I went to go to opening day of the minor league club I'm from, and it started to snow lately. And I said, "Well, we're just gonna go to the bar instead." It's not gonna.
Right. There's a $4 ticket. I'll spend that $4 on 3 beers.
Not sitting in the stands. Yeah.
All right, it's the first game of the year. So Max Fried, Logan Webb. Yankees are minus 123, total 7. We're going to pick it only because it's the first game. Yankees get off to a 1-0 start. You like the home team here, Jimmy?
I'm going to tell you Yankees get off to a 1-0 start.
All right, well, I'm going to hedge it here, and I'm going to go Giants. Logan Webb shuts down the Yanks. Giants win their first game of the year. Ryan?
I'll tell you that. I think it's going to be a 2-0 start for New York teams because
the Yankees are usually a slow starter in my mind, so I'm going the other way with you.
All right, Jimmy. I'm going to throw some rapid fire baseball at both of you. Thursday, opening day for you. Yep. You get Paul Skeens at Citi Field against Peralta, your newest toy. I'm taking Skeens all day. Do you think you beat Skeens?
I do think we beat Skeens. The Mets on paper are the much better team. Paul Skeens is clearly the better pitcher, but Peralta is very, very good. Opening day in Queens. I think the line is just right for a home team. I think it's minus 135 last I checked. I think the Mets are poised to be pretty good this year. So I'm going to take the Mets to open the season with a win.
All right, I'm also going to take my team since Jimmy's taking his. I love Kershett. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball. He will dominate the Reds. I don't know what will happen the rest of the series, but lay the minus 157. They'll hit Abbott. Kershett will shut them down. Red Sox get out to a 1-0 start. Is there anything else intriguing on this board?
I'll tell you what I'm excited with the Mets is they made some good acquisitions. Obviously, Bo Bichette came out, but they just called this kid. You know, I pay attention to the news. I don't watch spring training, but Carson Benj going to play right field. He hit 366 in spring training. He was a great prospect for them. He's 23 years old, so I feel like we stole one potentially coming up on top of the other people that we signed. So I'm nervous about one thing for the Mets. It's the same thing as always. The pitching staff. They've got Peralta. Let's see if Nolan McLean can pitch a whole season as well as he pitched last year when they called him up. Fantastic, but after that, it just turns into a potential dumpster fire. So we'll see what they can do on the mound.
All right, rapid fire. Home runs. Aaron Judge plus 350. Ohtani 4-1. Schwarber 8-1, Dumper 9-1, Alonso 13-1.
To win, you're talking about?
Yeah, it's most home runs in the league. Tatis is 45-1. I'll just throw out some big names. Acuna Jr. 45-1. They put Devers at 60. There's no chance. If you want to go way down the board, Austin Riley 100-1, Machado 150-1. Who hits the most home runs?
I'm going to go with the big Dumper because I don't trust. I mean, Judge has been healthy as of late, but I don't know that he'll stay healthy the whole year. So based on that, I'd go a little down the board and go with the Dump.
If I'm betting futures, you know me, I like to get a big bite of the apple. So I'm going to throw two out. I'll take a little slice of Juan Soto, 17-1, and a little slice of Matt Olson, 30-1.
Is Baltimore a hitter's park? I don't know enough about it.
It's pretty small,
especially for a lefty.
I mean, you could think
small.
Alonso.
Yeah, he's 13-1. All right, let's go.
I would be somewhere sub like 15, but not to 100-1. Just if I was throwing, as you guys say, pizza money on it, that's what I would do. I agree with Jimmy. I don't think Judge, like, I'm hopeful of him. I like the guy. He's a huge dude, though, and he's been playing for a while now. Like, you can't really bank on him not missing 10 or 20 games. Like, you just kind of got to assume that.
He is great.
And nowadays, it's not, it's not 60 plus. It's what do you really got to get? 48 plus, 52 plus, like somewhere in there.
You got to hit 60.
Yeah, you might have
60?
to hit.
You're going to have to hit 60.
Yeah, you might.
I don't know.
Yeah, you're going to have to hit.
You're going to hit 60. All right, most strikeouts. Skubal, Skeens, Kershett. Then it kind of drops off to Dylan Cease, DeGrom. Then if it really jumps down, Pivetta, 40-1. Logan Gilbert, 45-1. Hunter Brown, 40-1. Who do you like to strike out the most hitters this year?
I'm going to say Skubal. He's pissed off about his arbitration.
All right, well, you know where I'm going. Give me Kershett, 5-1. Anyone here, Ryan?
No, sir. I like Skeens. Good dude. He's just on a crappy team. I wish that guy could get out of there somehow. He's caught with the Jets. No disrespect to the Pirates. He's caught with a Jets type team where they can't figure out what to do.
Well, they don't have any money.
Yeah, they're not going to spend it. And that's the problem with baseball. That's the whole problem. That you got teams with, $280 million payrolls against teams that have $30 million payrolls. It's not fair.
Yeah, I mean, the real problem is that you're right. But is that that the Dodgers figured out a way to somehow move money to 10 years from now, like really play the system.
And more power to them. But honestly, like they've got to figure out this thing, right? We've navigated the guaranteed money that's somehow sucked into the NFL now. We've got to figure out how to make people spend a minimum amount of payroll. Like, and if you can't support that, if you can't spend $150 million, you know what? Just sell the team. Or do something, whatever it is. I don't know. You shouldn't qualify somehow. And I don't know what that looks like. Obviously, these guys are all bajillionaires, I can't speak for them. But it's very upsetting to watch teams like, the Marlins from years ago, we've talked about them before, and other small market teams trying to compete with these big, 7 or 8 that spend like close within 10% of the cap. It's something like that. It's not even close, though, when you drop to the middle or the bottom, and it's not fair. Not fun.
Yeah, a handful of people, but
time for a few more. Most hits. Bobby Witt Jr., 3.5-1. Vlad, 6.5-1. Areza, 7-1. He was a hit champion a couple times. Had a down year last year. Bo Bichette, 10-1. Julio Rodriguez, 11-1. Ohtani, 18-1. Gunnar Henderson, 8-1. Then it kind of drops way down the board. Long shot. I'll throw it out there. I like Ella De La Cruz, 51. Anyone here that you target, Jimmy? Would you take your new boy, Bo Bichette, 10-1?
No, I'd probably go Gunnar Henderson at the end of that. Talk about the Orioles park being not that it matters just for home runs specifically, but yeah, I would drop down the board and take somebody outside that. I think it's just too hard to. Total hits with injuries and all the things that can happen. I would take a little longer shot, but somebody still closer to the top.
You know what? This is one I'll probably just wait a little while, see how April goes, and then maybe make a bet. But the guy I'm targeting, unfortunately, he's the favorite, so I'm not going to bet it right now. I like Bobby Witt Jr. to have the most hits, but I'm not taking plus 330. All right, pitchers, most wins. This is a great betting market because so many variables come here, so you get great odds. Skubal 7-1, Crochet 10-1, Max Fried 12-1, Sanchez 13-1, Skeens 13-1, Logan Webb 16-1, Cease 17-1, Brian Woo 19-1. Anyone stick out? DeGrom 22-1, Blake Snell 35-1, Peralta 40-1. Jimmy, anyone grab your attention here?
No, so I'll go with Peralta. Just based on those odds, the Mets have bats. So
Peralta's not a bad call. Oh my god, this is a tough one. My eyes go right to either that 17-1 on Dylan Cease or the 19-1 on Woo.
Is Jesus Christ, what's the?
I don't hate, if you really want to go down the board, don't hate Zach Gallen 55-1. Just throwing it out there.
All right,
last one. Who leads the league in saves? And the favorite is your old closer, Diaz, 4-1. Then it goes Mason Miller, 8-1, Hader, 10-1, Munoz, 14-1, Devin Williams, 15-1, just keeps going. Chapman, 15-1. Mine's Mason Miller. I think the guy's just an absolute beast.
Yeah, I'm still upset that Diaz is no longer a Met, but I've got no call on this one.
All right, then bet Mason Miller, unless Ryan's got something to trump me with.
No, sir.
All right, has anything changed in your mind, Jimmy, in the NBA since last we talked? The Pistons clinched a playoff spot, and that must have made you happy. So
yeah, they beat the Lakers last night, so that was good for them. Knicks won 6 in a row, but they barely skirted by Brooklyn, and then they beat the Wizards, which is like beating like the B squad of a high school team. So I don't know if you can really get excited about it, but they're winning. I mean, the Knicks have a chance to jump into the second seed and see what happens with Boston.
And all it's going to do at this point, in my opinion, is just switch home court.
That's all. Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
Because Celtics are going to win the first round game. Knicks are going to win the first round game.
Yeah. No, you're right.
And then it's just going to be an extra game in Madison Square Garden or extra game in TD Garden. It's going to be one of the two. I hate to say it. I think the Cavs are playing funny games here. They're trying to get the Pistons, Jimmy.
They might be. You might not be wrong about that. I thought about that. There's a real good chance the Cavs end up in the Eastern Conference Finals if they pull that card. But I got to tell you, here's my, I don't know if it's a hot take, but because this usually isn't the case, I actually think the Eastern Conference playoffs are more intriguing than the Western Conference this year, because if you look at the bottom of the bracket and the play-in teams, you've got Philadelphia right now, Embiid, Edgecombe, of course, Maxey, great story. You got Orlando that really played Boston at least competitively to a point last year in the first round, which nobody thought would happen, and they added Desmond Bane. You've got Miami, who's just always a gritty team, and you've got Charlotte with Knoble, on the come up and actually playing decent basketball. So I think that's more intriguing, because on the bottom four of the play-in teams in the West, you've got Phoenix, the Clippers, Portland, and Golden State. None of them have a chance in hell.
No, and if everything holds, like to your point, Thunder are going to smoke the Clippers. Spurs are going to smoke the Suns. Lakers should have no trouble with the Rockets the way the Rockets have been playing lately. And it comes down to your team that you're toting for the first, 2/3 of the season, and the Nuggets, T-Wolves, and now I think it's the Nuggets should be in panic mode.
Yeah, they've got to get fully healthy. They have Peyton Watson back officially, so they're finally getting full. But if you watch Jokic, he's still not right with that knee injury. Like, he hasn't been able to shoot three, hasn't been able to plant. His percentage is going way down since he came back from that. But, they've got a little runway. 10 games left. Aaron Gordon's getting his legs under him. Christian Brown, same thing. He's back. If Peyton Watson get back, they're going to have a chance, because they're a championship medal type team. But I think if they really want to pull this off, they're going to, and the Lakers don't have a gauntlet ahead of them, but they're going to have to catch the Lakers and jump into the 3, in my opinion, because I think Denver smokes Houston with home court and makes it to the second round. And if they do and they get rolling, then who knows what'll happen in round 2. But as it stands, I don't love Denver against Minnesota in the first round. Jokic owns Rudy Gobert, but I don't love it. I don't love that matchup. That is for sure that singular matchup would be the best matchup of the first round, though. That would be must see TV.
Great call out, by the way.
And then nothing's changed for me on the hockey. Sabres continue to surprise. They're now 1 point behind the Hurricanes, though, for the top dog in the East. And then the West is what we kind of said. Avs have wrapped up a playoff spot, so have the Stars. We'll update that more on our next show. But we'll stay with hockey for a minute because it was a great college hockey weekend, too. Great games down the stretch in the conference tournaments. We have our field of 16 set. I'll quickly run through because hockey money lines are crazy sometimes.
Wow.
Michigan State, I think, has no trouble with UConn, but I don't know if I want to lay minus 238, but I think they win easy. I like Wisconsin to beat Dartmouth minus 145. I like Providence to get by Quinnipiac. I like Merrimack to upset North Dakota. That's my big upset of this tournament. Take Merrimack plus 200. I'm not going to lay this, but I think Western Michigan probably beats Minnesota State. Michigan should get by Bentley, no problem. And then this should be no shock to anyone. I'll be all over Minnesota Duluth plus 105 versus Penn State. And that is my round one picks. As far as the national champions, I will take a shot on Duluth 18-1, but the team I think is going to win it, Ryan, is our favorite, and that is the Michigan Wolverines. And I am going to go back to what I said before, Jimmy. I'm going to tell you, you take a Wolverine parlay, and you get yourself 18-1.
I like it.
So that would be my suggestion. If you like Michigan and either of them, just take both Michigans and get yourself 18-1. All right. So we'll end the show like we started the show, boys. Let's talk some college hoops. Let's talk some Sweet 16. Jimmy, you know what we're going to do live? We're going to talk out our 3 survivor entries.
All right.
So why don't you bring up entry 1 and who have we burned?
Okay. So
And
entry
what we're talking about
1
here, everyone, is the DraftKings. What is this? The $1 million tournament, Jimmy?
Yeah, this is the $1 million tournament on DraftKings. Entry 1, we've burned Arkansas, Utah State out,
Well,
Duke, and Purdue.
So Duke and okay, so we burned 3 teams that got into the Sweet 16. Not the greatest. All right. So what are you thinking from our Thursday slate on this one? So how you work this is you got to pick one winner each day, and then you can't use them again.
So from our Thursday slate, I got to tell you, because you got to take a risk. You got to take somebody you don't think is going to make it through.
Nebraska?
I think Nebraska.
I'm with you. I think we take Nebraska in this entry. And then Friday, this is where it gets tough.
What are Iowa, Nebraska, and the Ken Palm?
Ken Palm is basically
Kind of
dead now because everyone's made the turn. It's more, yeah. It's kind
I
of.
just assumed that we would still look at that.
And I mean, in the power, if you want to look at them as a power rating, you can. But I mean,
I was only thinking that Nebraska's a 4, Iowa's a 9. I get what we're talking about with Iowa.
So the problem here, Greg, if we're talking about going diagonally, if that has to be the case, I almost think you go Zona and you hope Purdue gets by them.
the problem is if we can't touch the bottom bracket, then our hand would be forced to go in the East because we couldn't touch Illinois or Houston because we need one of them to be live, and we couldn't touch Iowa State or Michigan because we'll need one of them to be live. So we have both of those sides. So we can do it. We can go Zona, Nebraska, and then hope Zona gets picked off in the round of 8 or the Final 4, because then on Saturday or Sunday, because in the Elite 8 you only have to pick one. Remember.
Mm-hmm.
So in the Elite 8, it has to be out of the East for us. It has to be, if we get through, it has to be one of those teams. It has to be Michigan State or UConn, because we still have both of them alive. So we'll have somebody, or St. John's.
Wow.
So that's the way we play this.
It is
So
not easy.
That's the way you play it. And then you hope Zona gets picked off. All right. That's entry 1 for sure. Good call, Jimmy. What do we do? Entry 2, who's burned?
All right. So entry 2, we've burned teams that are still alive. We've got Tennessee is burned.
Burned Tennessee. Yep.
Illinois.
Yep.
And UConn. We also burned Gonzaga round 1. So to me, this is a chance to go Michigan State and Iowa State. I didn't even check the dates.
So do you really, really feel that do you think St. John's beats Duke, or do you think this is the end of the road? And you can't do that because Iowa State and Michigan State both play Friday. So that's the problem here.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
We'll talk that out in a minute.
Right.
Do you think Duke St. John's looked real vulnerable to me against Kansas?
Yeah, you might be right. I don't know. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's a really tough one to pick one way or the other. I think Michigan State.
Don't forget, you guys were really upset that St. John's got a 5. They should have won a 3 or a 4, so that helps.
Yeah, I mean, I think we both think that Michigan State gets by UConn.
Why don't we take Purdue, because we have them free, and I think they move on, and then we can go with Zona on the next one and maybe hedge our 2 if everything breaks our way.
Okay.
And then we drop down, and we could go and we could be putting all our eggs in a basket here.
We could go Nebraska again, yeah.
Or we could go Iowa and figure one moves on then, and we got a shot still.
Oh. I think Nebraska beats Iowa. I think they're
all right,
dreaming.
So you want to put the hammer down?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even check the line on the game, but
1.5.
Yeah, God, that's tight. Oh.
Well, they split in the season. Iowa won at home, Nebraska won at home, and I think they were both 9-point games.
I think we debate that one. Do we want to do Nebraska twice and put it all in one, or do we want to go?
The other thing you could do is go with Houston, and then your hand gets forced a little bit then if you go with Houston.
I think there's a pretty good chance Houston gets to the title game.
Yeah, I do too.
So I don't like burning them. I think Houston, Michigan, and probably Zona are the 3 that I really am nervous to burn. Anybody else I'm willing to burn. I mean, I think Michigan State, like I said, we think it's by UConn, and then I think there's a very real chance they lose to St. John's or Duke.
If we went, hold on, let me make sure we can do this. I don't know if we can. If we went Purdue, if we went Purdue and Iowa State, okay. Let's say we did that. We would have Michigan, Zona, Houston, Duke, Michigan State, hopefully alive, and Iowa or Nebraska.
Yeah.
So then we would be forced. We only have to pick one, so we could pick. We'd actually open a lot of options if we did that, right?
Yeah, I don't mind that. And then we'd have Duke. Whoever wins Duke at St. John's, we still have as a live dog. And if UConn somehow gets by Michigan State,
we can pick them over UConn.
Yeah.
In our Elite 8,
and then we could pick Houston after that.
Or we could take Zona and then Michigan to beat whoever comes out of the top of the Zona, and then Michigan would have to lose the national championship game. Or we could take Houston in the Final Four, and then Michigan win the national championship.
Michigan beats Houston in the national championship.
All right, let's go Iowa State, Purdue.
All right, let me this. So in bracket 2, we're going Iowa State, Purdue. I like it. I think it's a good plan.
I'm trying not to interrupt, but I would tell you, I cannot imagine you guys, like, you're true gamblers. Like, I could not bet against my home teams. And you just said Michigan. Like, what are you going to do if somehow Michigan gets the finals? And you have to root against them.
You got to remember, if you get to the finals, you can hedge too.
I get that idea, but as a fan, like, I'm going, I want them whatever number.
Yeah, but you got to remember, if this Survivor plays out where we have to go Houston and Michigan's the team they're playing against, you're gonna take all the entries that are left, right? And you're gonna look who has Houston and divide it by $1 million and say, all right, Jimmy, if Houston wins, we get $2,500. So let's take 1,000 and put it on Michigan to win the game.
And in this scenario, we're going to potentially use you, so we'd be betting on Michigan, too.
We'd be betting on Michigan in this one, yeah.
I get it. You just said to the audience that $1 million is on the line, essentially, in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, but
it'll be divvied up by a bunch of people,
I know, I get it. But regardless, like, I cannot I cannot bet against my people and be hoping. I just
Well,
can't.
no, but we said we were betting on Michigan here.
No, you said against.
No. This one.
No, we're betting on Michigan. Yeah.
Oh, I'm
In the
sorry. I
finals.
thought I heard you
Yeah,
say,
no,
what if Michigan ends up and we've got to pick Houston?
Michigan beats Houston in the final.
Okay.
So I've got locked in number 2, Iowa State, Purdue. The first bracket, just to recap, we're going to lock in Nebraska and Zona, right?
Yep. So we go Nebraska, Zona.
We can Nebraska and Zona same day too.
You guys
We
have
can go back. We can go back and
Alabama, Michigan,
double
State,
down on Iowa State. We could double down on Iowa State.
Yep, that's what we have to do.
Or we can go Michigan State, because Michigan State wins. We assume they lose to Duke or St. John's, which might not be the best, but we're going to end up taking Houston out of that bracket anyway.
Let's go Michigan State. Let's take a risk on the other 1.5 point favorite.
But I'm okay going. If you want to go Iowa State, I'm in on it, because I think they lose to Michigan.
I don't hate Michigan State because of your point that we would take Illinois or Houston over Michigan State if they got there. And we're going to do the same thing. If Duke's there or St. John's is there, I would pick Illinois or Houston over any of those teams.
Yeah, I agree.
And we don't really even have to do it, because if we think Houston's there and we think Houston's a national champ, we'll take someone on the other side if they're available.
Mm-hmm.
Because it could be Iowa State. I still think Iowa State has a chance to win this whole thing.
They're very good.
They could be the turd in our punch bowl.
That'd be awesome.
All right. Who do we burn in the next entry, the last one?
In the last entry, we burned of teams left: Nebraska, Texas. We picked Texas over Gonzaga.
Well done.
And Purdue. UCLA was the other one we burned, and they're gone. So we've got those 3 we've got to work against.
That's fine.
Those are great couple picks.
So day 1, this is where we could come back and we really only have 2 choices. We either go Arizona or we go Iowa, because we both agree we don't want to burn Houston. And it's a tight game, Houston, Illinois. Or we hedge our bet and we accept that we'll be out on one because we pick Nebraska, and we go Iowa. So either we take Arizona and we think, hey, we're taking Zona. There's a chance Purdue knocks them out in the next round, right? Which there is. There's a very real chance that happens. Or we take Iowa and we accept a loss.
All right, you're going to hate this. I know you are. I think our Friday pick has to be Duke. I know I texted you that last night, but I think you got to take Duke because we don't think they're going to the Final Four, and we think they can beat St. John's.
Okay.
So I think we got to use Duke. And then on the Thursday one,
if the game is to make it forward, I think we not sacrifice one at this point. We go Zona, and we just accept that we're going to move forward, and we're going to burn 2 1s and see what happens the next round. Only because if we go Iowa, we're accepting the fact that one's for sure dead.
All right.
You see what I'm saying?
So if we go Zona, right? Then in the Elite 8, we have to pick. We can't pick against Zona because our 2 teams on the bottom are out. So our Elite 8 pick has to be Michigan State or UConn. Because we can't burn Houston, we can't burn Iowa State or Michigan. We need both. We need all those teams in the Final Four.
I would pick Michigan. I would be comfortable picking Michigan State if they made it through. I don't think UConn can beat them, but I don't think UConn's getting by.
Defense,
which I think is better than not automatically sacrificing one of them. Does that make sense?
Yeah. All right. Let's go Duke Zona.
Yeah. Unless you want to burn Illinois or Houston, which I think we don't.
Because I think one of my Final Fours is Michigan State, Houston, Michigan, and Zona, and then I have Michigan, Houston in the finals.
So I think it's perfect. So we're going to go Zona and Duke
and see how it plays out. Yep. All right, we got a lot of combinations that can open up if we get lucky here. All right, we'll update everybody when we do our first ever Saturday morning show because Jimmy's going on vacation and we're going on tonight, so he might not be able to come out and play Friday. So we'll do it on a Saturday morning before
I just threw up in my mouth.
Yeah, me too. All right, let's end the show with the Sweet 16 picks, Jimmy.
All right.
First game up Thursday. It's Purdue 7.5 to Texas. What say you?
Look, Purdue's really good. Texas has been playing great ball. I've been really impressed with the big kid that is a name that's extremely difficult to pronounce, but he's looked great. The team's playing well. They play in a good conference. I mean, I don't think the Zags win is like some home run to write home about, but 7.5 is quite a few. I don't know, man. We're gonna obviously end up betting this because we're running out of games. I think Purdue should knock them off the map, but Texas beat a BYU team we thought they were going to lose to. Then they beat a Gonzaga team we thought they should beat. I'm going to take Texas in the 7.5. Volcatitis or whatever his name is.
This is a pass for me on the spread. If I can find a way to maneuver Purdue in a moneyline parlay, I probably do that. I think Purdue moves on, but I think this game is probably a little too close for me to lay 7.5 at this point in the tournament, the way Texas has played. Here we go. I am so happy this is a 7:30 game because this is the game I wanted to see, and we're going to be able to watch this in the bar. It's unfortunate that the next game I want to see starts at 10:05, but we'll see the second half when we get home, Jimmy. But in the bar, we're going to see Nebraska, Iowa. Nebraska, 1.5-point favorites. I'm going to go to Ryan because I know you have an opinion on this one. Who do you like here, Ryan? Nebraska keeps it rolling.
I'm thinking Iowa is going to take them down. I really do. I think Nebraska's rode their 2 games of unbelievable first win. Great job in the second win. I think this is the end of the road. I just don't think they can do it. I think it's too much hype. I think it's too much. Like when you do something like that, you just your energy drains out eventually, and this is a whole new weekend.
I'm going Nebraska. I think they're the better team. They started the year really well. They kind of trailed off, but they're catching stride again. Mast is a beast underneath. Sanford has a quick release like no other. He's going to play in the NBA, I think, one way or another, even if he's just the 3-point shooter. But he's got a release that's lightning quick. I think they're the better team. I think Iowa played their best game against Florida, and now this is a letdown game. I would go Nebraska -1.5, and I go big.
Love Nebraska. I think Nebraska could be the survivor blow up for us. I really do. I think Nebraska could get us here, Jimmy. They could be the ones that make it to the Final Four.
And could happen.
And get us. Arkansas and Zona. Again, you parlay Zona and Purdue to both move on and play each other. It's -149. I don't hate it. The 7.5 to me is such a hard number.
It is
I would probably lay it with Zona in this one before I would lay it with Purdue.
Yeah, this would be an avoid. I like the money line parlay. I just never know what Arkansas we're going to get. If we get the Arkansas that plays up to potential and Calipari is ready to go, I think they could win the game. And I think they could easily cover and make it close. But they could also just completely lay an egg. So I'm going to avoid this one. This won't be one of them that I play.
Anything here?
Rolling.
Who's Zona's
rolling here?
Yeah, they are playing real well.
It's game on.
Here's the one we're going to disagree on, me and Jimmy. Nightcapper, the number 2 seed against the number 3 seed, Houston, Illinois. Houston laying 3 and a partner right now.
Yeah, look, Houston has been dominant so far this tournament. They haven't had exactly so. I mean, A&M was playing pretty good basketball, so you can't say they didn't have any competition. I thought that game was actually going to be closer. It wasn't. It was a complete annihilation. I think Houston wins the game by 10.
Give me the Fighting Illini +3.5. That's why I'm happy we're not betting Illinois or Houston, because I think Jimmy might be surprised that we're betting Illinois in the Final Four and then going against them in the championship game. Give me the Illini. They're the best offense in the country. It doesn't matter where they play. I think they will outscore Houston because as much as everyone remembers Houston being this grinded out defensive team, they haven't been that this year. They've been a good defensive team, but not like they've been in the past. So I like Illinois to outscore them here. Give me the Fighting Illini to fight their way to the Elite Eight.
It's ironic that I'm agreeing with you two, who I haven't been on all the time, but I'm taking your information and I'm going Illinois to the 9s. There's no question about it in my mind, and we'll see.
Well, Jimmy, are you laying 9.5 to Alabama, who can score at will, but they can't defend me and you? Are you?
I would like some respect there, by the way. There's 5 of them. Can we Just
Are you
put 3 of us on the court.
That's true. We can all play. I don't think they can defend me, let alone the 3 of us. Alabama has no interest in playing defense.
Jimmy and I almost got the JV. Almost.
Yeah. No,
What-
Michigan's going to win this game by 15.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm laying it here. And if you want to do a money line parlay, then I would do Purdue, Zona, and Michigan. Get yourself a little plus money maybe or close to even, and that would be where I'd roll.
Yeah.
So I think they all move on.
Michigan, Purdue at least. I don't know what the odds are on that.
But you said Zona's going to roll.
I agree.
So
I really agree. But Michigan, Purdue are a lock in my mind.
I hope you're right.
I don't have this in front of me, but I will obviously we'll throw it out there because I know the number. Jimmy can give us the live number, but I think it's 6.5. Duke giving 6.5 to the Johnnies. Jimmy, is this the end of the road for the Storm, or do they storm to the Elite Eight?
It could be the boys to men, but I'm going to tell you that 6.5 is too many. Give me the Johnnies all day long, getting 6.5. Shire's doing a great job. He's not Rick Pitino, and it's just too many points. So I think the Johnnies keep it really close. I think they could win the game flat out. For everyone that I hear talking about this on radio, on TV, they think this game could go either way. So for it to be 6.5 seems wild. Give me the Johnnies.
So this is going to sound crazy because of what we just talked about with Survivor, but I want to preference it with this. Survivor is a completely different strategy. And the reason I said to Jimmy, we got to burn Duke is because I don't think Duke can go to the Final Four, and they're 6.5-point favorites in this game. With that said, I think St. John's covers, and I like St. John's to win this game.
I think they can win this
But
game.
in Survivor, playing the percentages and the way we're mapping it out, it makes more sense to burn Duke. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense, but trust me, with the percentages, it does. But from a betting standpoint, not in a Survivor pool, I'm taking the Johnny 6.5, and I fault nobody who plays them in the money line.
Yep, I agree. And look, Duke's got a good squad, but their best player, who is awesome, Cam Boone is very good, is a freshman. Ejiofor is not. He's a grown man out there. So I like the Johnnies.
You guys made me feel a little silly with Ejiofor. I mean, that guy is a monster. But I think Duke is going to take him down money line.
So Duke wins.
Yep, money line. Just
But
straight up.
what do you think about 6.5?
Too many points?
I think it's probably too many because I think their team is really good. Like, no disrespect to St. John's. As you guys said, they're 2 or 3, right? They should be. They got disrespected massively in the seeding somehow.
It's completely disrespected. All right. This next game is, to me, Jimmy, I told you Sunday my play of the day was who?
Tennessee.
Right. And I told you they were going to have no problem with Virginia, right?
That's right.
Was I right?
It wasn't no problem, but they did win.
They won 79-72?
They did.
Okay. Now we're going to reverse that. This line is disrespectful to Iowa State. This line should be 11.5. Yeah. Iowa State is going to take Tennessee
Good for you, dude.
at 10-10, smack them in the face, kick them in the nuts, and send them on their way. Iowa State steamrolls Tennessee in this game.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Iowa State is
lay the 4.5 and thank the gambling gods it's not 8.5. Ryan, you with us?
I'm with you.
All right.
Iowa State has done exactly what you guys have said for the first 2 rounds. No question.
Because I'm a great executive producer, I saved this for the end on purpose.
I know you did, because I went through the whole list right here, and I'm just getting angry as you're going.
As I'm skipping it.
Because you know what we're going to hammer here. We don't
Last
fine.
game that we are going to pick in the Sweet 16. Sparty versus the Huskies. Michigan State, UConn. Ryan, the stage is yours. Tell us why UConn wins and covers the 1.5.
You know, listen, people. I don't know much about Michigan State, but I can tell you about UConn, and I can tell you that this is one of those years where they're sneaky. They're going to come out of nowhere, and I'm hoping, and I'm never betting against them, as you've heard me talk about with whatever teams you think I like. I know that this is the year. I know it. It's happening. They're the people that are feeling badly about themselves. They're kind of eking things out here and there, and this time they're going to take somebody that's legit and put them in the dirt, so to speak. That's a Spartacus kind of thing. That's what I think. So we'll see what happens. I'm hopeful. I will be rooting for them. I will not be betting on this game no matter what. I don't care what the spread is. I don't care anything else. If UConn goes ham, great. We got people on the women's side complaining about, oh, Syracuse is upset because they had to play UConn 3 of the last 4 years, and they're literally out there saying that's not fair, that's ridiculous. You got UConn, which is the first team I believe ever, Greg, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but to make the NCAA tournament in hockey and the NCAA tournament in basketball in both genders in the same year. So, look, let's not disrespect UConn. I think we all have ample respect for them. And Michigan State, same thing, right? But UConn's going ham. Let's do it. I'm not rooting against them, period. And thank you for saving it for last. I respect you as my friend.
I'm going to guess that there had to be a year that Michigan or Wisconsin, somebody from the Big Ten pulled that feat off, but we could be wrong.
With the hockey, I don't think so, honestly. I think
Well,
I saw
here's the good.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
No, they're fun stats, they're fun things to bet, but they're not going to help UConn. Men's basketball specifically this year. Michigan State is a very good team. They're playing good basketball at the exact right time. They took a bad loss in the Big Ten tournament. They've come back. They look better than ever. And UConn just isn't that good. Not only, I don't need the 1.5. Give me the money line at plus 110 and put multiple units on it. It's, I think, one of the better plays of the week. Could UConn do it? Sure. Do I think they will? No, and I'm willing to put my money on it. Greg?
Not to be funny, but just from a betting point of view, maybe one of you can help me. Like, why wouldn't you put the 1.5? Like, that's not a lot of points. Why wouldn't you? I'm not being critical. I'm really asking.
I mean, the odds of it landing on 1 are not great, but if it does, you kick yourself quite a bit. I'll probably play the 1.5.
But that's good news for the fans, right? I'm really being serious when I ask that. Like, I'm not screwing around. Like, it's 2 points.
Here's
in the grand scheme of things.
Let me break this down real quick. First of all, I'm going to correct Jimmy. I don't think UCLA was a bad loss in the Big Ten tournament. I think UCLA was a good team. I think they played a bad game against UConn, unfortunately, at the wrong time. But I think in the first round, UCLA showed they were a good team. They were a legit 7 seed. Makes them a top 25 team probably in the country, right?
Sure. Top 32 by math, right?
28, but let's say they're the best 7, they're 25. So let's make them, they're a legit team. Not a bad loss, in my opinion.
Okay.
Here's what I think of UConn. The coach, most overrated coach in college basketball. The program, most overrated blue blood. I can't even believe they call them a blue blood. They're a joke. They're not a blue blood. They're not Kentucky. They're not Kansas. They're not Duke. They're not Carolina.
Now we're going a little
Not
too far. To be fair.
Not a blue blood.
Jimmy agrees. It's a little much.
Ryan, stop. They have been good since somehow Scotty Burrell threw a pass to Tate George or the other way around. Some joker hit a shot against Clemson, and then all of a sudden Connecticut was like, "Oh my God, basketball, we love it." Stop. They're not a blue blood. They've been around since 1990. We're talking these teams have been around since the 60s that we're referencing. They're not a blue blood. They are a joke of a program. He is an overrated coach. They are an overrated program. Tom Izzo is a first ballot Hall of Famer. He knows how to coach in the tournament. Michigan State comes out of a better conference. The Big East is garbage, hot garbage, if you will. They played Georgetown at this arena they're going to on Friday and barely beat them. They're going to beat Michigan State there? I don't think so.
Jimmy, is there a support group starting at 11 p.m. tonight that you and I could possibly join?
Michigan State wins this game, and I don't even think it's close. I think Michigan State dominates them in the first half. UConn makes a little run in the second half, and Izzo gets his team to respond. Final score, Michigan State 81, UConn 64.
Ooh.
Wow. All right, I appreciate you putting it on the record. I was going to ask you to, nail a number down. So 17, that's what you're going with?
Michigan State by 17. That's what I got for you this week. We're going to end right there. Michigan State, and then again, Michigan State.